Good morning, listeners. Welcome to Getting Back to the Basics with our schools and ourselves. I am so excited to talk to a dear friend today. I welcome Regina, and I'm going to just let her just jump right in and introduce herself. You can, if you're watching the podcast, you can see that gigantic magnetic smile of hers. And if you're listening, I want you to know that the smile is coming through as she shares about her journey today. So, good morning, Regina.
Good morning. Thank you so much, Dana. It is a pleasure to be here, and I appreciate the invitation. Just to share some things about my journey. I am Regina Hovis. I have just a little bit about my professional career.
Hmm.
Before I ever got into teaching, I actually was a teacher assistant and a bus driver while I went to school for undergrad.
Uh-huh.
So I did that, worked in daycare as a teenager, like I would leave high school and go work in daycare. So I've always loved children. So went to teacher assistant, bus driver, graduated with my undergrad, was hired before I graduated and got to pick which grade I wanted. It was in a brand new school. So
Wow.
I picked kindergarten because I love teaching reading. Reading is a passion of mine. So taught kindergarten for about 5 years, and then my husband and I started having our own children, and I
Mhm.
stayed home with our children for about 4 years, and then felt very prompted to go back. And so then I came to Lincoln County, and I have been here ever since. I taught 15 years in Lincoln County schools in first grade, the reading grade, and
Right.
then had quite a wonderful experience that got me into a master's program at High Point University and was able to go and become an administrator because my last probably 6 years of teaching, I just wanted to help more teachers. I found myself being a cooperating teacher. I was a mentor. I did all the things to help in the school and loved having those opportunities. And so now this is my 6 year being an assistant principal, and I've learned a lot in those 6 years that I did not know as a teacher, and just felt like all those years of all those different roles has added to what I've learned and just helped me to grow. And I'm just so appreciative of the experiences I have in education because I believe in education and love what it can do for people.
Well, I know our listeners are feeling that smile and that warmth, and I had no idea you started as a teacher assistant and a bus driver.
I
So, if
did.
there's anyone who really has grassroots in the field of education, it would be you. Um, you were chosen for a special chapter in the book, and I almost think it might be the most important chapter in the book. And that chapter is called You Can't Pour from an Empty Canteen. And the premise of the chapter is your personal wellness is a professional and a personal responsibility. And the reason we chose you is because you're living that right now. You are on this incredible journey where you haven't just taken responsibility for your own wellness, you have made it a priority. And so we wanted to celebrate you, not just for the amazing educator that you are, but for being willing and vulnerable to come on and share your story with us. I cannot wait to hear more about your journey. Can you kind of share what prompted you to focus on your wellness and to start this journey for yourself? And you've been on it a while, so it's not just a little fad or you're giving it another whirl. You are locked and dialed in, right?
Yes,
Um,
yes.
but what prompted that for you?
Well, I think for me,
Mhm.
especially in education, we
Mhm.
can lose ourselves very quickly because we pour into everybody else.
Mhm.
And so I love to give everything I have to everybody else.
Mhm.
And so when you do that, sometimes you can just forget yourself and what you need. And being in a role as an assistant principal new. I started off in high school, which I'd done 19 years elementary, kindergarten, first grade.
Culture
And so,
shock, culture shock.
so a lot of time was spent, at school, and then I wanted to come back to elementary just so I could, because I kind of lost my family too. I mean, not lost them; we're still good, but just was not home,
Right.
and needed to be there because my children were still in the home, and husband and all that. And so, but I still pour a lot of myself into the school. And so I think since I've been here within the last 5 years, I realized how much I was pouring into the school. And in November,
Mhm.
I thought, okay, you can't keep going like this anymore. You can
Mhm.
still pour into the school and into the people because they need you, but you've got to have some balance and
Mhm.
taking care of yourself.
Mhm.
Because instead of, like, if I had a stressful day, I would reach for a chocolate, or,
Mhm.
I would get something that was fast. It was a Band-Aid fix.
Mhm.
I had a bowl of candy in my office for teachers and they could come in here and get it, but I realized it was mainly for me. So at the beginning of this school year, I changed that bowl and have mints in it now because
Right.
trying to help our teachers be healthier too. And so just slowly trying to move those things. But in November, I thought, okay, what do you want your future to look like? If you keep on this path, it's not going to be who you're supposed to be or
Mhm.
what you want to be. Because I think we're all here for a reason. And the direction I was going was not the direction that I wanted to be. So I have professional goals that I want. I have personal goals. And so in November, I just took charge and I reached out for help to my doctor. He got me aligned with like a program, a nutritionist. And
Mhm.
so met with a nutritionist the day before Thanksgiving. And I just knew this is it. And so I went that day and bought the groceries that I needed and had Thanksgiving. And then that Friday after Thanksgiving, I kept those goals in my mind constantly, in my health. And so I have worked very hard on myself as much as I work hard in this building at this school, because I thought these kids need me, my family needs me, and I need me. And so I've worked very hard to make sure I'm getting enough rest at night, make
Mhm.
sure that I'm eating good things, to make sure I'm proactive and preparing things for me to eat the next day. Um, so I knew in November that I needed to get on the right track, and I did. And is every day easy? No. But is it worth it? Yes, because I'm worth it. And all
Absolutely.
of us are worth it. And so, as educators, we need to make sure we're educating ourselves on what we can do to be the best that we can be. First things first, sometimes, is
Mhm.
ourselves,
That's right.
because we can't do everything else if we're not in a good space. And I was tired of feeling bad. I was tired of feeling swollen. I was tired of feeling tired. And I feel so much better. But it's work, yes, but it's good work.
Yeah.
So
It
I feel a
reminds
lot better
me of
now.
the analogy, Regina, like when you're flying with a child, you put on your air mask first so that
Yeah.
you can tend to your child. And you recognizing that you are worth it. We don't live in a culture all the time where prioritizing ourselves, it is definitely a generational thing. People in
Yes.
generation don't prioritize themselves as much as some of the younger generations. And so everything you spoke to, I know resonated with me. So I'm sure it resonated with the listeners that in order for you to be effective in all your other roles, you have to be effective in the role of taking care of yourself first.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so I applaud you for that. But I think we need to come clean with the listeners because you and I are actually accountability partners. So
Yes, we
we
are.
with each other every Sunday because we both started a health journey in November. Yours was being prompted by recognizing you're tired, you're worn out, you want to give more, but you can't give more. And mine came on my 59th birthday. I remember thinking, I want the year of 60 to be the best year ever. So I'm going to use this year at 59 to get myself back in alignment with what I know are good practices. And so we meet on Sundays and check in with each other. How are things going? But more than that, like what are each of us doing differently? Because we're going about these journeys. You're working with a nutritionist, I'm working with a functional medicine doctor, and so really when we share, it's about what are we doing differently and what are we seeing that is happening differently. And you talked about the rest and just something as simple as take the chocolate out and put the mints in, because I know I don't go to your office to grab a mint. Right? But I would definitely go to your office if I wanted to grab some chocolate. But those little steps add into big steps. So I want to thank you personally for being on this health journey alongside of me. And I want to celebrate because you are getting incredible results in your journey. You not only look as if you feel better, I know you're feeling better, and your energy is starting to come through. It's always been there, but it's at a different level. So I want to celebrate you and take a moment and celebrate you because, like you said, it is hard work.
It
It,
is hard work, but when you got a great accountability partner, it makes it
yes.
a little bit easier.
It
So
does.
thank you.
And even when that scale moves like 2/10 of a point, right?
That's right.
Guess
It's
what?
still
It
too
went
tense.
down. It didn't go up. It went down. I love
That's
that.
right.
But part of camp, the whole camp experience in the summer is we used to say it was a retreat for educators, and not because you were just going and basking in the sun, but it was a chance to get away and revitalize. And so at each camp experience, our mission and vision is educator wellness,
Mhm.
educator retention, and educator wellness. And so when you come to one of the summer events, we start each day and we end each day with a wellness, a voice and choice of what you want to do. So
Yeah.
maybe it's walking the bridge or doing yoga on the river or
Or
going
riding in a kayak.
in a kayak for the very first time. And if only our listeners could see Regina's first time kayaking, I'm just going to say it involved a lot of wet clothes and lost telephones. So we'll let you infer what happened to Regina in her very first kayak experience. But what about that? Because you also, you know, we've had campers say, I don't think I can walk to the top of the Charleston Bridge, or I've never done yoga before, or zip lining, or racing the go-kart down the mountain. There's all kind of wellness things that we do. What part of that resonated with you?
Gosh, well, I'm going to go back to the kayak because,
Okay.
we came down with our school and
Uh-huh.
we all said we are doing the kayak. Well,
Uh-huh.
because of where I was last summer, I was at my heaviest, not
Uh-huh.
feeling great. I was very nervous about the kayak.
Yeah.
But my principal, who's also my very good friend, she said we'll do it together. So no, we flipped. We got
Uh,
very wet, but we laughed so hard and we still laugh about it. But I think what happened was after that flip, I got back in a kayak by myself and I did it. And I went way down where we were and saw dolphins and it felt so good to do that paddle and to know I did it. And
Mhm.
so I think the wellness for me part was, yes, I can do hard things.
Yes.
I can do
Yeah.
hard things. We all can do hard things. And sometimes we have to go through something um,
Mhm.
to help us learn that lesson.
That's right.
Because it would have been easy for me to say, I'm not getting back in that kayak. I'm not flipping over again,
Right.
But it's like, no, because you just have to embrace those
Mhm.
things and learn from them and grow from them and not let them make you bitter or hold you back because
That's right.
they can if you let it. but you just got to find the joy in those moments and laugh at yourself in a way that's like, okay, this happened, and get back up and get back in the kayak.
That's right.
And so that put me, I think that was part of my journey,
Hmm.
is knowing, okay, it's going to be hard, but you
Uh-huh.
do one paddle at a time. You do
That's
one
right.
day at a time. You do one meal at a time. You do one thing at a time, and you'll progress.
That's
And
right.
so,
Small investments lead to big results, right?
yes,
So
small and
maybe
simple things.
that's right. One week it's don't grab for the soft drink, grab for the water.
Yeah,
Next week it's just go to bed 30 minutes early or
that's right.
and little thing. And I think that's what I've enjoyed hearing what your little things are. And I was thinking about what you just said about the kayak story, right? It was hard because we were also paddling against the tide. The tide was
Yeah,
coming in and we were paddling out. But what a reward that not
yeah.
just that you did it, but you got to spend some time with some incredible dolphins in the wild.
Yes,
They
it was
came out
amazing.
and they
Like if
came
I wouldn't have
out
gotten back
and
in, I
that
would
little
never have
flip
had it. I wouldn't have
little
had that
was but
experience.
you did it. You did
Yes,
it,
yeah,
right?
yes. It was incredible. It was the best day.
That's right. And so when we do hard things and we prioritize ourselves, we need to relish in those small joys for sure. And I hope that our other campers would speak to the fact that part of the wellness is we try to pick things that people maybe haven't had exposure or the opportunity to do. And so you're there trying it with your new friends, and it's okay if you've never done it before. We're all going to do it together.
Well, and
We
I think too with camp, it wasn't just physical. It was more of a mind, spirit, body thing. You know,
Yeah.
there was, and it was just so much fun, and we learned so many things. I mean, I think about the relay races or with these cups, you had to really think about how to make it work and how to do it as a team, or, that was the mind, and then the spirit being out there with those dolphins and just seeing the beauty, what it does for you.
Yeah.
And then just your body, you're using your body like in the kayak or on the scavenger hunt. You're running all over the place trying to, and it was just such great moments to
Right.
help you reconnect with yourself as
Right.
well as others.
Dun, 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 getting back to the basics
That's
for
right. That's
ourselves.
right.
That's right. That's right. So there's a quote in the book, and the first time I read the quote, I had to go back and read it again because it was powerful. And so I want to read it because I don't want to monk it up, and that's going to require me to put on my glasses. So hold on, everyone. Here's the quote. Rest isn't a reward. It is a requirement for staying.
Yeah.
Like, right? Does that,
Yeah.
I mean, you have to read it and listen to it. It's not a reward, it's a requirement for staying. So, as you are continuing on your journey, is there one lesson that resonates louder than any other lesson so far? Because we're not done with our journeys yet. Is there one lesson that you feel like that you've learned along the way that if there was one thing you could pass off to the listeners and that you're also going to hold true to yourself as you continue your journey, what would that be?
I think rest your mind, spirit, and body. And for me, I take one day a week, and for me, it's Sundays. I rest from work. I
Mm-hmm.
rest my mind from work. I
Hmm.
rest my body. I take a nap every Sunday after church, and then I rest my spirit because I replenish. For me, it's faith and
Hmm.
just trying to reconnect with family. We have family game nights. We watch, whatever we want to together, a movie. But just reconnecting with what's important to me and helping me get that rest, mind, spirit, and body. So then on Monday morning, I'm ready to go the next 6 days again and go hard.
Yeah.
But I know I need that day to
Right.
allow me to get ready for the next week. And
Right.
so I would say pick a day, pick a time, pick something where for you you can replenish and get back to the basics
Yeah.
so that you can serve, because most of us have that servant heart
Yeah.
and as educators, and to be able to have that, you do have to put your own mask first on. And it doesn't mean it has to be every day, but it does mean
Yeah.
find some time to give yourself what you need.
You remind me of something my grandmother used to say to me. She's like, "Now, Dana, you can give and give and give till you can't give no more."
Mhm.
And I was like, okay, that's just some saying that Granny says, but it's so true. If you keep giving, you're going to get to the place you can't give anymore. And that's as we wrap up together, I wanted to ask that question of you. What would you say to that educator that's listening that is in that cycle or that cyclone or that whirlwind where they just keep telling themselves, oh, suck it up, push through, and they don't listen to their body? What would you say to them?
That if you don't listen to your body will make you listen to it, because you eventually will hit a wall.
Mic drop. I am
Yeah,
dropping the mic on that one. You're right.
yeah.
You think you're the
So
boss of your body, but it'll let you know real quick,
it
like,
will.
yeah,
That's right. So listen, because it's a lot easier to change small and simple things now when you can instead
yeah,
of when you have to.
yeah. I love that. I don't think you could have picked a better quote to end our podcast. That is just true. Do it when you can choose to do it, not do it when you have to do it because it might not be repairable then.
All
And
right.
that's something that we have both learned along the way. So that leads me to why I said I think this is the most important chapter in the book because if we want to be educators that are able to stay in the world of education and continue to make a difference, it's going to start here. It's going to
Yeah.
start with prioritizing. So thank you, Regina, for
Thank you.
story. Because it's hard to be vulnerable and to talk about the things that aren't going right in our world. We always want to be positive, but I cannot wait to continue being your accountability check-in buddy, and I can't wait to continue to celebrate this health journey that we're on for ourselves and for others.
That's
I
right.
hope some of our listeners will come to camp and allow themselves the opportunity to focus on some wellness. You're there to learn, you're there to have fun, you're there to network, but you're also there to take care of yourself for just a few days, and hopefully
Right.
that will spark a fire underneath you that will continue into your school year. So, thank you again, Regina. We couldn't have asked for a better guest today.
Thank you so much for the opportunity. And thank you for being such a great accountability partner.
You got it, friend.